I am Angelica Ruba, and in this video, I am going to discuss about hydrothermal vents and ocean garbage. For the first part of my presentation, I am going to discuss about hydrothermal vents. So what is hydrothermal vents? Hydrothermal vents is the result of seawater percolating down through the fissures in the ocean crust in the vicinity of spreading centers or subduction zones. So to make it simple, the seawater gradually passed down through the cracks in the ocean crust, and then the cold water is heated by hot magma and re-emerges to form the vents. So there are three types of hydrothermal vents. First is diffuse vents, second is white smoker vents, and third is black smoker vents. So this type of hydrothermal vents are categorized based on temperature and the chemical elements that they release. So first, in diffuse vents, nag-i-emit siya ng pinakamababang temperature, which is up to 30 degrees Celsius, and also it contains high levels of hydrogen sulfide, and clear water lang ang kanyang nire-release. Second is white smoker vents. So nagre-release siya ng milky fluids due to chemical element such as barium, calcium, and silicon. Now, these chemical elements are white. So, dahilan para maging white yung kanyang nire-release na ganun. And then, the temperature naman ay nagre-range from 200 degrees Celsius to 300 degrees Celsius. Third is the black smoker vents. So, ito naman, nagre-release siya ng jets of water blackened by iron sulfide, and ito yung may pinakamataas na temperature, which is between 300 degrees Celsius to 400 degrees Celsius. In spite of high temperatures of hydrothermal vents, meron pa ring mga organism na nabubuhay sa paligid nito. So, these organisms, they are independent of sunlight, and instead they rely on symbiotic relationship with species of chemosynthetic bacteria to survive deep in the ocean. So first, we have tube worms or Reftia pachyptella. So this organism can tolerate extremely high levels of hydrogen sulfide. And second is Bathymodulus mussels. So these mussels contain intracellular chemoautotropic bacterial symbionts, which allows them to survive. Third is methanogen. So methanogens are anaerobic archaea that produces methane as a byproduct of energy metabolism. So fourth is the scalyfoot gastropod or Chrysomalon squamiferum. So they are known only from the hydrothermal vents of Indian Ocean, and it has unique iron-infused scales, and the only known extant animal that incorporates iron sulfide into its exoskeleton. Extant animal meaning still in existence. So lastly, the blind shrimp. So this blind shrimp occurs in huge swarms in the hydrothermal vents of Atlantic Ocean. That's all for the first part of my presentation. Let's move to the second part, which is about ocean garbage. So what is ocean garbage? So ocean garbage refers to various types of debris, primarily plastic. So itong plastic is the common waste that we can see in the coastlines or in the open ocean. So it accumulates in the ocean and waterways. So these wastes can include bottles, bags, or even fishing gear and others. So for the sources of ocean garbage, we have land-based sources, marine activities, and natural disasters. For land-based sources, we have improper waste disposal or the inappropriate and careless disposal of waste products such as rubbish, recyclables, and hazardous waste. So it also includes action such as tossing garbage on the side of the road. Next, littering. So littering, these are the waste products that have been discarded incorrectly without consent at an unsuitable location. Next is runoff from rivers and streams. So these are the waste products natatangay or naanod mismo sa rivers and streams. So for marine activities, first is shipping. So dito naman sa shipping, nakakapag-contribute siya ng waste products by cargo residues, food waste, and other garbage that are similar to typical household. Next is fishing. So, yung mga fishing gears na nadi-disposed sa dagat, which yung iba nag-accumulate sa seabed or yung iba naman is nagpa-float mismo sa ocean. So, next is offshore oil drilling, or yung mga nako-contribute niya na garbage is excess cuttings and small quantities of treated domestic and sanitary wastes. So lastly, the natural disasters or yung storms. So kapag may storms, may mga na-accumulate din na mga basura galing nga sa mga mga improper waste, galing sa improper waste disposals or littering. And next is yung flooding. So, kapag bumabaha, ito na rin yung mga paglabas ng mga basura na hindi maayos na naitapon. So, for the location of ocean garbage, we have coastlines, open ocean, seabed, and river mouths. For the coastlines, ito yung mga basura na itutulak ng alon papunta sa baybay na naiipon ng naiipon. So, kasama na rin dito yung mga tinatapon ng tao sa baybay. So, sa open ocean naman, the famous example is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So, nagpo-float ito doon sa may Pacific Ocean. Next is seabed, o yung mga nagsasubmerge na mga basura sa seabed, like cans and fishing gears. So, lastly, the river mouths. So, yung mga runoff from rivers and streams, ang ending ay napupunta sila sa river mouths, kung saan napupunta rin sila sa mga coastlines. So, the impacts of ocean garbage on marine organisms includes ingestion, entanglement, habitat disruption, chemical contamination, toxic effects, and bioaccumulation in the food web. So, for ingestion, yung mga basura is na-ingest ng mga marine organisms like sea turtle, which can lead to digestion problems and death. So, next is entanglement. So, it can cause strangulation to marine animals. And yung mga pinaka-common na nagkukos ng entanglement na ito is yung fishing net. So, next is habitat disruption. So, yung mga basura na na-accumulate sa seabed, natatakman nila or nadi-destroy na nila yung habitat ng mga marine organisms. Next is chemical contamination. So, yung water is nagiging polluted na. So, yung mga marine animals na nagre-rely dito sa good water quality is namamatay in the end. So, next is yung toxic effects. So, in the long run, yung chemical contamination or yung mga garbage na na-accumulate sa seabed is nagkakos na ng toxic effects which can kill the marine organisms. And lastly, yung bioaccumulation in the food web. So, yung mga marine organisms na i-ingest nila yung mga particulates na galing dito sa ocean garbage is napapasa na nila dito sa food web. So, yung smaller organisms na kinakain ng larger organisms is nakakuha na nila yung mga particulates na yun na galing sa smaller organisms. So, magpapasa-pasa na yun sa food web. So, that is bioaccumulation in the food web. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.